God.
Well,
that's
do I get my 3
outrageous.
minutes now?
Outrageous.
The outside counsel, not that the shareholders are on the hook for. Who approved that?
Yeah. I beg your pardon?
Who approved the outside counsel that the shareholders are on the hook for?
We all have to. We all
We
do.
have insurance
We have
to
insurance and
cover
we're
the
being,
lawyer fees. Why did we go outside of that?
because we had to countersue. To the extent that the suit is by Ms. Platt against us, we are defended by our insurer, and they pay for it.
I
To
thought
the
there
extent,
was,
to the extent that the countersuit is ours against hers, we must pay for it.
I
We
thought there
must
was an
countersue.
agreement that I would get a chance to.
You will.
So I
You
think
will,
if I
Kate.
had just a few minutes, I
Good,
think I
and you
could
will.
clarify this.
And you will.
And then the questions could
And
be
you will.
addressed after having heard both sides. I think that
Yes,
would
but
make a
then
lot
that would
more
have to be,
sense.
that you would allow
So
me to finish.
can I get a chance? Well,
Miss-
you've been going on for quite a while.
My
Vivian.
dear,
We have the whole night.
we will now have,
Do I get a chance?
Let Vivian finish.
I think,
Then you have your chance.
I was about to finish, but there was a thing. Basically, that's the beginning and the end of it. One suit was brought against us, we countersued. The countersuit then has been countered and countered and countered. We must continue to defend it or drop it and then allow her countersuit against that to prevail. The money keeps going. That is the beginning and end of it, and now Ms. Platt will explain to you how it's not.
Thank you. I have been accused of starting litigation, of suing members of the board, of suing people, and causing a legal expense. This is 100% false. First of all, if I bring a suit, we are covered by insurance. So any action I take would not cause you anything. The only time you pay legal fees is when I am being sued, when the building is a plaintiff. There was an action taken at a meeting that I thought violated every law in the state. Basically what happened is that even after I was elected by a very large margin, certain people on the board decided they didn't want me on the board, and they decided to form a, quote, executive committee that would consist of every member of the board except me, and everything they did would be kept secret from me, and I was actually ejected from the meeting. I explained that this was not legal, that this violated New York law, that directors are elected by shareholders, and that the board doesn't have the power to just undo this. I brought what's called a declaratory judgment. And I just want to read you the legal definition of a declaratory judgment. A declaratory judgment permits parties to a controversy to determine rights, duties, obligations, or status without awarding damages or ordering them to do anything. Unlike most court cases where the plaintiff asks for damages or other court orders, the plaintiff in a declaratory judgment case simply wants the court to resolve an uncertainty so that it can avoid future legal consequences. A declaratory judgment asks for nothing but a judge to give an advisory opinion as to what the state of the law was. At the time, I was naive enough to think that they didn't know they were doing something wrong, that they really just thought they were advised by an attorney, and I felt that if a judge said, no, you shouldn't do this, that they would voluntarily comply. Because that's all a declaratory judgment is. It's like getting a consulting opinion. There are no orders, there are no damages, and it would not cost the building anything to get it because they are not the plaintiffs. They only pay money when they're a plaintiff. In fact, what the judge said then, in response to my bringing a declaratory judgment, and they should have joined in with me. They should have said, yeah, judge, tell us what's right, because we want to do what's right. Just tell us what the law is. Instead, they started their own lawsuit with a different index number, suing me and hiring a lawyer at $510 an hour, $300,000 wasted on their determination to squash me, to punish me. They sued to have me removed from the board, and they sued for $200,000 in damages.
No.
Please, let me
No,
finish.
lies are different.
This is not a
We never
lie.
sued you to get you off the board, we never sued for you.
Excuse me, you brought an action to have me removed from the board.
No.
That, yes, I can show anybody the complaint, and you should read it yourself, because I don't think you know what's going on. In fact, that cause of action was dismissed. The claim for damages is now pending. Obviously, I think it's going to be dismissed because it's based on a claim for something in the future. And over the course of the litigation, their method of litigating was to send a defamatory letter about me every single month so that hopefully I would get defeated at the polls the next time I ran. I was accused of working to undermine the best interests of the corporation. I was accused of working with somebody who was suing the corporation to try to help defeat us. I mean, the most incredible, outrageous lies. My original case,
Let me know when you're finishing,
I
because they
will.
need to be answered.
my original case, the declaratory judgment case, was dismissed on a technicality without prejudice because I did not sue the corporation. It was held to be what's called a derivative claim, and procedurally you have to have a necessary part of the corporation. The judge told me that I could interpose it in the case that the board brought against me, which I did, and they made a motion to dismiss the claim. They lost their motion to dismiss. That claim is still alive and kicking. I also brought a claim that their whole thing was pretextual, that this was all done politically, that certain people wanted me off the board because I felt that I had uncovered certain wrongdoing, and they were concerned about my relaying this information to the shareholders. And that they made a motion to dismiss, and that claim was also survived the motion to dismiss and is still pending. And then I added a new claim for defamation because a lot of people believed all these stories that they said about me. I had 148 proxies 2 years ago. I only had 66 proxies this year, and I've done nothing but good things for people. This was all a result of the horrible defamatory statements made against me. And then they continue.
Well, maybe
They
people
now
are sick of all the
say-
lawsuits.
They
Maybe
now
that's why you
say
lost.
that they don't want me to see any documents. Now, I saw some
Elaine, all right, Elaine, all right. You have had.
Wait,
To
we
begin
have
with,
somebody a question.
You have had, yes, go
Comment.
ahead.
I would just like to address what I heard Ms. Platt say about the defamatory messages around election time that came from other board members about her. And I recall getting far more, Ms. Platt, from you about the board than I got from anyone else about you.
Around election time is one thing. They sent out month after month at shareholder expense totally untrue statements.
Absolutely true
There is a
statements.
difference
Absolutely true.
between unkind, insulting, and
They were neither
untrue.
unkind or insulting,
Well,
and they were absolutely true.
We'll see.
One
Well, the
moment.
judge will decide that.
We have
Could
had
we stop
several,
with the
we have had.
judges? Why does a judge have to decide?
Because
Well,
that wasn't
because-
costing this building
Because
money.
there are people who voted for me and elected me to be on the board, and they have a right to my representation and my oversight. And
Your representation and your oversight doesn't, in my opinion, include the spending of all of our
That's
money.
right.
Yeah.
first of all,
All right,
I
it's
did not
all of our
spend
money.
a dime of your money.
Elaine,
It's
I-
their lawsuit that involved the money.
Elaine, you have had your say. I did not want to get any further into this, and I'm sure you're tired